Hey there guys, I'm Renee. I am the owner and artist behind Chicly Reclaimed Decor, and welcome back to another YouTube tutorial. Today I'm going to be sharing the process of how I created these unique EcoCast resin trays using Set in Stone Eco Resin and Couture's Concentrated Pigments, their powders, glass glitters, and so much more. So if that is something you'd be interested in learning, guys, stick around because this is what we were going over today. Before you pour any type of resin, it's important to make sure that your surface is level. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified when I upload new tutorials. This is Harvest Gold. This is a heavily pigmented metallic mica powder by Couture paint. And we are going to be using a variety of these powders to create a look that's reminiscent of geode and crystals and all the variety of textures and colors found within. So we're going for a very organic type pattern here. So I'm going to be sprinkling this powder in a diagonal type design. Keep in mind that the thicker you lay down your powder, the more texture you will have on your finished EcoCast piece. And this beautiful color here is Silver Lace. It is a beautiful white metallic mica powder, and I'm going to be sprinkling this powder on either side of the Harvest Gold that we already have laid down. And as you can see, I'm even sprinkling it into the rim on this jewelry tray. Next up, we're going to be using a Silver Galaxy. It's this beautiful smoky gray color, and we're just going to continue on sprinkling it throughout the design. The side that's facing me right now is actually the bottom of the jewelry tray. So keep in mind that whatever design you come up with will be flipped on your finished EcoCast piece. For this piece, I'm actually using these mica powders as a type of resist. Meaning when I pour my eco resin over top, not all of this mica powder is going to be absorbed. In fact, after it's cured for 48 hours, I'm going to come back and remove any excess mica powder that may be left on top. This will reveal not only the texture, but all these beautiful glass glitters that we are going to be embedding here. Here I am using sheer German glass glitter by Couture, and I am sprinkling this product on either side of the mica powder and then on top of the powder as well. And then this is a gold irregular crushed glass that I'm going to continue on with that same pattern. And as you can see, I'm even sprinkling veins of this crushed glass on top of the mica powder that we have down. It's important to note that I added my crushed glass over top of my pigment powders. I'm doing this that way I know they will be securely embedded in my eco resin that I'm pouring over top. Because remember, any of this mica powder that's left over after this piece is cured, you're going to be removing. So you don't want to add your glass before your powder because then your glass won't have any contact with the resin. Then I'm going to be taking this beautiful mirror glass and I'm going to be continuing on with that process of sprinkling it over top of the powder that we have down. And once again, I'm being sure to sprinkle some into the lip on this jewelry tray as well. You'll see why later on when we unveil this from the mold. And here's an up close look at the design that we have created before we pour over top. Okay, so we are going to be using Set in Stone Eco Resin. This is a non-toxic, no VOC, mineral-based powder that has polymer resin. So if you've heard of jesmonite, it's kind of a similar product. And this is mixed by weight, so you are going to need a measuring scale. I'm going to add my cup to my scale and then I'm going to zero it out. This is going to prevent the weight of that cup from being incorporated into the weight of my product. As you can see here, I am measuring out my water that I need. I need 2.1 ounces. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to add my container, zero my scale out, and then start adding my eco resin powder. I'm going to need 6.3 ounces for this project. Please don't let the fact that this product is measured by weight intimidate you guys. It's really quite simple once you get the math down, and I straight up stink at math, so if I can do it, I know you can too. So let's just say, for example, the mold that you're using requires 8 ounces to fill it. So what you'll need to do is take the number 8 and divide it by 4, because remember, you're going to be mixing this in a 3:1 ratio, which means you're going to be measuring out 4 equal parts. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. You're going to need 2 ounces of water. Then you're going to take the number 2 and multiply that by 3, and you will get 6. 6 ounces is the amount of powder that you will need. So for a 3:1 ratio mix, you will need 2 ounces of water and 6 ounces of powder for a total of 8 ounces. Once my water and powder are all measured out, I'm going to start adding my powder to my water a little bit at a time, stirring thoroughly, making sure to scrape the sides to incorporate the powder into the water. When you're done stirring, you should have a nice smooth and not chunky consistency like this. And just like any other resin, this does have a limited working time before it starts to set up or cure, so you will need to work fairly quickly. I'm going to be doing a 2-color pour, so I'm adding half of this eco resin to another container, and I'm going to be coloring it with both the blue pure concentrated pigment and jet black by Couture paint. I'm going for kind of a grayish blue color. Remember to shake this product thoroughly before you begin, but because it is so concentrated, you only need to use a drop at a time. As you can see, I think I only added maybe 3 drops of the blue and 1 drop of the black to achieve this blue color. And I'm just going to keep the other eco resin, the natural white color, because that's what I wanted anyways. And I'm going to take these 2 colors and I'm going to pour them at the same time evenly into my mold, one on either side. After that, I'll lift up and tap my mold on the surface, as well as finishing off by tapping the edges. And I know I spilled some of the product out, but that's not going to affect the finished cast item. The other nice thing about this resin is that it sets up anywhere between 2 and 24 hours, and I'm demolding this after only 3 hours. And I'm going to begin by loosening the edges here of the silicone mold from around the bottom of the eco resin tray. And once that is loose, I'm going to flip it over and continue to carefully remove this eco cast item from the silicone mold. Once my tray has fully cured after 48 hours, I'm going to come through with a soft makeup brush, and I'm going to use it to brush off and remove any of this excess perfect pigment mica powder that is on top. This is not only going to reveal all the pockets of texture, but it's also going to reveal all that beautiful German glass glitter and mirror glass that we embedded in the resin. There are so many different designs that you can come up with. So I'm going to share with you the process of how I created just a couple more of these jewelry trinket trays before we seal them with Couture's pouring resin. And one thing that's also nice to know about these metallic mica powders is that you can mix these with a high gloss top coat to make your own metallic paint. So once again, this is a great multi-purpose product. The nice thing about these concentrated pigments is they can be mixed together to create an endless array of color possibilities. These concentrated pigments are fantastic for coloring a variety of mediums, not just resin. They can be used to color paint, top coats, glazes, metallics, texture. They also can be used in glue and air dry clay. So many great uses for this one single product. This process kind of reminds me of an archaeologist if they were meticulously digging for dinosaur bones or something like that. It's just as much as a surprise, and it's enjoyable for me to see all these gems and glitters exposed at the end. Just gorgeous. And my niece thought so too, because this is the tray she picked out for herself. The nice thing about this is that you can create so many different styles and colors. And if I've inspired you today to try any of these amazing Paint Couture products, please feel free to use my affiliate link. It is at no extra cost to you, but Paint Couture will give me a little extra thank you in return, so thank you for that support. As you can see, I didn't color my resin, but the perfect pigments really shine through, as well as that German glass glitter. When your trays are all cured, you want to sand the bottom so that way they sit evenly on your surface. And I'm going to be wet sanding. Wet sanding is when you incorporate water into the sanding process. This is just going to reduce any dust particulates in the air, and it's going to create a nice smooth finish on these EcoCast resin pieces. To give depth to this design, as well as seal this porous eco resin and give it a high gloss finish, we are going to be using Paint Couture's pouring resin. Do not shake this product, but rather stir thoroughly before use. And this is a self-leveling acrylic resin medium that dries to an incredibly smooth and high gloss finish. Their pouring resin works well with their paints, their luxe metallics, their glass glitters, and their pigments, as well as their concentrated pigments. So I knew this product would work well to finish off this design. I added about a spoonful of this resin on top of my tray, and then using a gloved hand, I evenly spread it over my design. You can also use a silicone spreading tool, or you can pick up your jewelry tray to tilt the surface around to get your desired look. I'm also being sure to spread a thin amount on the rim and the sides. And if possible, cover your freshly coated resin surface to prevent any dust particles from getting in. And then allow to dry from 2 to 8 hours. And here is a close-up look at these unique eco resin trinket trays that we created using Paint Couture's pure concentrated pigments, their perfect pigment powders, German glass glitter, and pouring resin. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm Renee, I'm the owner and artist behind Chicly Reclaimed Decor, and I hope I've inspired you to do a little creating of your very own.